Alright, take 10. Hello there, my name is NerdPorks, and I'm here today to give you a new player's tour of Betaheads. This is a beta 1.7.3 server with um, minimal plugins. That means no land claiming, no teleport commands. The only plugins it does have keep the mission of the server alive, which is uh, provide the player with as classic a Minecraft experience as possible. So when you join the server, you'll end up on this glass cube. This is called the spawn cube, and to get down safely, you just need to go down one of these um, wooden staircases to the tree area that the creator of the server made. Now, to join the server, you can't just punch in the IP after connecting your Java account to Betacraft and just log in. You actually have to fill out a Google form to be placed on a whitelist, and only after the server owner approves it, it's pretty quick. You just need to put the reason why you're joining, and if you have good intentions, he should let you in. It's just to prevent griefers and such from ruining the build on the server. You should be in within just a couple of days. And after that, you can be witness to all of the amazing history that has transpired on the server. It's only been around for 2 years, but it feels like it's been around a lot longer. And I feel like the reason that is because everything that people have built has been using beta blocks. And you know that feeling when, for example, let's say you're on 2v2t and you just happen across someone's base and you see they happen to be using petrified oak slabs and smooth stone. Alright, you just saw in the chat one of the server members just left. Um, that means the server is now completely empty, and I should be able to sleep on this server to pass the night all by myself now. You might also have noticed that, um, well, before I get to that, I should address the elephant in the room. Yes, that is a giant Roblox man face. I don't know who built it. I don't know when they built it. I don't know why. I don't know how. But it stares menacingly across the bow at Spawn Cube. And it's all silly, goofy fun, this server. Um, anyways, on to the topic I was going to talk about. The texture pack I'm using. These aren't vanilla textures, as you might have already guessed. This is a texture called, hold on, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. It's called SMP's Revival. Um, I think I'll link it in the description of this video because it's pretty hard to come by these days. Um, it was started by a player called SMP. I know, it doesn't actually stand for Survival Multiplayer. Um, and he made it as a medieval texture pack that has 16 by 16 textures. Now, what I like a lot about this texture pack is it keeps stuff like the old cobblestone, um, so the cobblestone is darker, and as you'll see in a bit, the bricks are also um, more red. They're not muted like the current textures. Like, I like the current textures a lot, um, especially after the texture change in 1.13. I'd say modern Minecraft looks better than beta Minecraft does, but when you join beta Minecraft, you just kind of get used to the old textures, and in fact, it looks better, in my opinion, if you're playing beta Minecraft, to actually start using the old cobblestone and brick textures. Uh, This one I probably won't link. It's pretty easy to find online. Ones that change the cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, and brick textures to be the same ones that the game used in up until beta 1.6. Um, so I joined the server in January of, sorry, no, the server started in January of 2024, and I actually joined very recently, mid-July 2025. But I happened to join just in time for a revival of the server, which happened in May of 2025. People built a lot of new settlements. For example, some Polish-speaking players built a town called Pekkraj, which I should be able to show off in this video. It's over in that direction. They have a bunch of nuclear power plants and stuff. But anyways, here are some various levels of the spawn cube that Misha built. This is the Cafe Good Food. I always forget the name of this place. It sounds so generic and bland. Presumably this table has been reserved by who knows which people. And here's the staff kitchen, but um, I'm sure for the purposes of this um, tour I should be able to take a peek behind this wall. Here we have the stoves and ovens that are used to prepare the good food for people who want to sit down and chow. Um, Here's the calendar of who cleans on what days, and I presume these are the server owners. I'm not exactly too sure. Here's the wardrobe for them to put on um, their uniforms. Here's a bar for uh, you. You can get drinks at the bar, and jukebox for playing some jazzy tunes. Another reserved table, and the cafe we passed by just now is actually called the Grillby Bar. Um, Up on that level, there's actually a pretty funny Easter egg I want to show off. Um, does take a bit to get there though, so bear with me. This tour is going to feature a lot of walking. It's all uncut. Um, this video is, I mean, I'm sure you saw by the length of the video, this is going to be a monstrously long tour, and it's not even the first, it's not even the only video. It's actually just the first one, so why should you stick around for an hour-long video followed by another half an hour long one in part two? Well, let me just say, I've done a lot of research for this video, done a lot of planning, and that should hopefully result in the most comprehensive tour of the server available on the internet in as condensed a format as possible. So yeah, over here it's pretty sparsely decorated with some recliners and couches and hi. A little Easter egg I found while exploring the spawn cube during my time on the server. And right now you should be able to hear some classic C418 music. Ah, good times. You never seem to remember just what moments the Minecraft music actually happen alongside, but when you hear these sweet tones, you sort of are reminded of all the time you spent playing Minecraft in a way. And it's a great outlet for creativity, as shown by this structure I showed you around it. You can really let your imagination run wild. Here's the information and rules board. I should be able to read off it briefly. Server information board. Rules. 1. Respect other players and everything. 2. Do not grief or steal. 3. Do not cheat. It is unfair to others and may affect performance. 4. Do not unnecessarily use server resources. About server. This server is designed for classic Minecraft gameplay, so there are no claims or privates or any teleports. But if you really want to claim territory, text the admin at /mail Misha Volkov. Also, you can report weird behavior and any violations. All players on the server are equal. There are no paid things. /help to see commands, /rules to see server rules. Server makes backups every day. If your buildings were broken by griefers, I can return any backup from the last 4 days. Just mail me. Information above. Also, check out our Discord server. I'll link that below in this video. PS server was started on 15th of January 2024. And that's it for the spawn cube. After that, you can just wander out of here. You can actually start odd. You can actually start breaking blocks once you're out of this area, but first, be sure to grab some food so you don't die, some minecarts to get around easier, and some bedding to avoid seeing hostile mobs. They're especially dangerous in this version. This may look ugly, the torches placed on this thing, but believe me, Minecraft beta gets very dark at night. The reason you're seeing this so brightly is because I have an Optifine slider that lets me turn the brightness up, but original Minecraft gameplay in beta 1.7.3 actually doesn't have a brightness slider. It just turns pitch black at night, and I highly recommend when you set up your starter base once you join to just torch spam everywhere. I know it looks ugly, but it's absolutely necessary if you don't want to get murked by creepers on your first night. This is the Auburn rail line. It takes you north to Northfield, as we're going to see in this video, or west to Turtleridge. Over here we have Mosu's Gunpowder Shop. Now this is actually one of the more recent builds on the server. I recommended that he make it pirate themed, so he added these little cannons out front, because, you know, you're using gunpowder to light these things. Now, getting sand is an especially tedious process in beta Minecraft, so the fact that he's selling a stack of TNT for 5 diamonds per stack, when it takes, like, what, 4 or maybe 5 blocks of sand per block of TNT is a really good deal in my opinion. Here you can see the brick textures that I was talking about. For any textures that you might not immediately recognize, this texture pack I really like because it mimics vanilla textures really closely. But some things like the ores, you only have colors to go off of, and they change the iron ore texture. So I'll let you know what certain blocks are. If you really like playing with vanilla textures, you should still be able to understand everything that you see on screen. And over here we have Mr. Pug's building material shop, the really useful shop for later in the game if you want to start making large builds with snow or accent it with mossy cobblestone or bricks. He actually traveled very far to get these materials, so props to him for restocking it. I know it couldn't have been easy. Over here, I'm actually going to show off one of the rail lines that I mentioned. You should be able to see that over here, there's a, yeah, you can see it now. There's a wooden arrow behind the man face that actually points down at the second rail line at spawn. That's called the Pekkraj Express, I believe. It takes you directly to Pekkraj, the Polish-speaking town that I mentioned just a few minutes ago. And Hold on. Let me see if I can. Up. There we go. You should be able to see, yeah, this birch wood bunker almost is actually just another train station. It's one of the earliest builds on this server, I think. At least I think it is because I traveled to every stop and it seems like uh, most of them have been abandoned for years at this point. But we're just going to take this um, rail line. It must have been really useful when most of the people lived in Spawn Town. There seemed to have been a flurry of activity in January to March of 2024 um, by players never really who never shared what they saw. It was only in May of 2025 that the first actual YouTube world tour of this server took place, and that was by Singer Hutron. That actually blew up a bit on YouTube. It has over 1,000 views at the time of making this video. And this is Nickman's Wool Shop. It makes frequent use of these floating trapdoors, and I can actually show you how to do that. So first, just make a contraption like this, punch out that hole, place a piston facing in like this, place the trapdoor you want to make floating with your supporting block there, and then activate a lever up and down really quickly. And now it's floating. Now be warned, if you do update it, it does pop off, so don't do that. But now that you know how to do it, always bring a piston with you and a bunch of trapdoors. Um, it could help you repair a mistake if you happen to update one of these trapdoors, as I know I have in the many takes I've tried to record this world tour. I actually, um, yeah, took a lot of takes. Here's some of the various colors of wool that Nickman sells at his shop. Um, I've bought some light blue wool and some cyan wool. Let me see where that is. There it is. And some light gray wool, even though that's a default color that grows on sheep. Yeah, it's really hard to farm wool in this version because um, unlike modern Minecraft, you can't actually breed them. But the upside is that unlike shearing in modern Minecraft, sheep drop. Uh, Here's a diorama of the nether, by the way. Um, Unlike in modern Minecraft, sheep actually drop uh, 2 to 4 blocks of wool when you shear them instead of 1 to 3. That's to offset the fact that sheep are so hard to come by and wool is relatively harder to collect in large numbers in this version. The only options you have are either to explore the overworld looking for sheep to punch and shear, as is the trick in this version, or to set up a passive mob farm, which Nickman uses um, pretty often. Alright, here we are approaching Nickman's base and his quarry. Uh, we spawn high up here. Don't worry, this is normal. I'll show you why this is in a second. Hup, hup. 1, 2, 3. And if I look behind me, you can see that we actually came out of an obsidian blade of an Excalibur made out of nether portals. This is really impressive to me since there are no sizes for nether portals other than 2 and 3, but you probably already knew that. Um, at least here in beta Minecraft. This is a piston elevator, pushes you up. Nickman makes frequent use of illegal building techniques. For example, um, this illegal piston head, or this illegal piston base. This is actually supposed to be a sink. You can imagine a faucet dripping water into this hole right here. This is a fridge. Makes little clickety clackety noises when you um, open the door. Um, some mushrooms to represent foliage, I suppose, for a dwarven house of some kind. And out the front of this building is the quarry. This is um, presumably some uh, dwarves have been carving stone out of this open pit mine and bringing them up to that house. Um, yeah, that's Nickman's base for you. Our next stop is going to be quite a ways away in this direction, and hopefully the sun doesn't set before we get there. There should be a bed there once we get there. Uh, I think that a lot of players on the server just join for like a week or two and then they leave. But some players actually stick around for much longer. They're very active in the Discord server. They play for many hours a day. There's also a mini map to see where players are at any point on the server, and actually you can see the base coming into view now. This is TheCerealMan's island. Anyways, you can use the mini map very regularly. It updates every couple of seconds, um, and it's a very useful tool for helping get around the server if you, even after this world tour, you still don't really know where things are in relation to each other. I don't blame you. This is a pretty roundabout way of touring the server. I just am doing it this way today to show off all the landmarks that I think are interesting, but these aren't actually the most efficient ways to get to them. Explore for your own, mark, make your own path. Uh, Boats in this version are very slow, but um, by beta standards, they're actually pretty fast because you can't sprint yet. Also, neat beta building tip. I'm actually gonna sleep so you can see this better. Um, if you place blocks, specifically fences, which are crafted in this version with 6 sticks, underneath farmland, the game registers the farmland as being like a full block of dirt, and instead of trampling when you walk on it, as is the case in this version, it actually becomes invulnerable to trampling, which completely negates the negative sides of farmland in this version. As you can see, there's um, weird flowing water texture and Z fighting on the farmland there. That's not this build's fault. It's just a Minecraft quirk. Uh, I think TheCerealMan is a Spanish player. This place is called Isla Paz. Over here we have his upstairs area and uh, a green balcony area to overlook the surroundings. This place is actually inaccessible by nether portal or by rail. The only way to get here is by boat. Typically from either Nickman's portal um, as that we came from, or uh, as Mr. Pug 51 now built. You can take the rail to Northfield, which is the town he built all by himself, and take a boat ride here from either place. I think that's acceptable. And here in this version, you actually get to learn that a lot of features of modern Minecraft that seem outdated actually serve their original functions and actually make a lot more sense than they do in modern Minecraft. For instance, minecarts. I don't know if you watch YouTube Shorts, but back in 2023, 2024, there used to be this really big YouTube Shorts channel called Camman18 that would dog on minecarts a lot. Like, why are they so slow? They're slower than sprinting, which was added in beta 1.8 over 13 years ago. Why do they even exist? Buff minecarts, etc., etc. And here in this version, they actually do serve a purpose because they're actually the fastest form of overworld and nether travel. You could do piston bolts, but I don't recommend that. Just do the classic thing, you know you want to, and build a rail line with the iron that you mined out. Over here we have spades, a small build with basically nothing in it, and here we have Spade's friend's house. Um, those are some red and yellow flowers at the front. I think in modern versions they're called roses, roses and dandelions, or poppies and dandelions. I never quite remember it. This is a mine that goes down there. Oh, he's asking me when I'm doing the tour. Right now. Um, and over this hill, you should be able to see a lighthouse, and that is actually Northfield. Um, so Mr. Pug, who, as I said, built the entirety, yeah, I don't think he quite knew that I was doing the tour today, uh, at this moment, that is. Um, Mr. Pug built the whole town by himself, and he joined around the same time that I did, July 2025 of this year. Right? And he actually built way more than I did in such a small span of time. I don't think I can compare to the sheer scale of buildings that he's built, but unlike him, uh, where he really only did a tour of one building at his town, I can give you a tour of the whole server today, so that you can appreciate it just like I did. Oof. I actually don't have any bricks, I'll just tell him that. Yeah. This is a watchtower. I was under the mistaken impression that this was an old school thing, like it was inspired by Ethos Lab or something. But actually, it's just a normal watchtower. This actually gives the best vantage point of the entire town, in my opinion. It's beautiful from up here, high over the clouds. The sun, just imagine the sun blowing past your hair as you look over the majesty that is Northfield. Here we have the inn, the most recent building for a while at Northfield. I think I can show the first floor and then we'll move on. Here we have some glitched piston heads. Alright, wish him luck. Um, some... It's really hard to harvest glowstone. I think I was online for a couple of the times that he was doing that. Kept on getting pelted by gas fireballs. Super annoying. You can't even reload your bow in this version, so you have to take multiple shots to kill a gas, which is so uh, something you have to get used to in beta. Here's the bank with some stalls for borrowing and lending. A fountain, which I think brings the whole place together. Over there is the giant creeper statue made out of lime wool that he bought from Nickman's wool shop. Um, it's actually it doubles as a mob farm. That hole of water you see there is actually the exit of a mob farm. It's a giant dark room underneath the creeper that where water brings them up to the surface and they drown, and their loot pools up near the foot of the creeper. This is the Northfield Library. Uh, it was built on, let me double check, late July, and some of the books were donated by hesitant miner. Yeah, it's common to make farms in old Minecraft since there's nothing else to do, so people just make sugarcane farms and cactus farms. Over here we have the Nether portal, which I'm going to show you after we read this information board. Town of Northfield established July 15th, 2025. Bulletin board. Feel free to take the drops from my mob farm. It's the giant creeper up ahead. Hungry? The Northfield Bakery has lots of free bread. You can contact me through Discord or by using Flash Mail. Check out the wiki page, betaheads.net/wiki/Northfield. If you want to build something here, please ask me first. And under this giant creeper, you can hear... Ooh, that's loud. You can hear it in action! Um, I changed my mind. Before we go in that portal, I also want to show off this church because it's probably the best build, in my opinion, at Northfield. There's a confessional where you can confess your sins to the priest. Father, forgive me, but I've drifted a little. This is my favorite part of the build. Uh, Signs that imply scenes on stained glass windows. 1, Jesus is condemned to death. 2, Jesus takes up his cross. It's basically the life, passions, miracles, death and resurrection of Christ. Jesus is nailed to the cross, yada yada. I think we all know how that story goes. There's a cemetery because you can't have a church without one. Oh, fun fact. Did you know that back in the day, um, there was this really mean um, English king who was so hated by his subjects that when he was buried in a church, uh, they just like actually no, they didn't actually defile his grave, but he was buried normally, I think, and over time that church was demolished, so people lost the location of his grave, but recently um, it was rediscovered in like 2007, and it turns out that the old grave had become the site of a current parking lot uh, in the UK. Wild archaeology facts for you. Over here we have that glowing lava texture that um, I so praised. I don't know if it was this take or not, um, but yeah. Uh, in old versions of the game, mushrooms spread like crazy, so I'm glad they updated how mushrooms spread because even though it's really easy to get food in the Nether in this version, zombie pigmen drop cooked pork chops and um, mushrooms can spread to give you mushroom stew wherever you like. I still prefer modern versions with the hoglins and um, nylium. It's a very useful build, flame resistant wood. All we have in this version is petrified oak slabs. Over here I'm traversing open nether because there's not actually a direct rail line to Northfield. Of course, when you visit the server, be sure to take the designated rail lines. They're the safest path to and from places by a long shot. This soul sand makes you really slow. Alright, we've arrived at Northfield. This is the base of I Punch Noobs with, in all caps and with the number zeros in place of the O's. Um, in the short time she's been here, she actually joined like a week or two ago. She built this massive uh, tree farm where everyone who's visited it has been like, "Oh my God, that's a huge tree farm." um, 10 by 10 per layer, and here actually you can see a flag that she made for this town. It's called Sunbreeze. It's a pretty cool name and a pretty cool flag for a pretty cool place. Over here we can see some interior deco that she made for her base. Every place I visited has made their sinks differently. Back at Nickman's base we saw he used a glitched piston base. At Northfield you didn't see, but he actually used a stair for a sink. And here we have just a block of water. It's interesting how different players approach interior deco. To get to and from layers, there's actually an entrance. Um, in old versions, you can't have free-floating leaves, so they have to be connected to logs at some point. They can go up to 4 blocks from a block of log before they start to despawn. Same as on trees, as hand-placed. Now in modern versions, trees have a modifier which actually um, changes depending on whether a player has placed them or not. So that's why you can make giant leaf builds in modern Minecraft without them all decaying or needing huge amounts of ugly logs that are very visible when you have fancy graphic settings on. Over this hill, you should be able to see her sugarcane farm. She spent quite a while coming up with ways to light up the build before finally settling on glowstone lights hanging from the ceiling. Of course, she couldn't do that without um, going nether gathering, which was especially perilous, but I think it ended up looking pretty nice in the end. Somehow some cows spawn in there. Yeah, passive mobs really have no rules against them spawning. So long as there's a grass block, they will spawn. Even squids spawn in any block of water flowing or not. So here is the rail line to Pekkraj, the Polish-speaking town. These are just normal zombie pigmen. In this texture pack, they look like actual pigmen, but be sure they're still zombies. They aggro you if you punch them. Over here we have um, a nether tunnel with permanent netherrack lighting. Uh, some texture packs actually render netherrack as meat, I've noticed. This one renders it more as a reddish stone. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's like a cross between blood and rock, in my opinion. Let me just heal up. Um, here's Pekkraj. Of course, it's beta players really have no limits. Um, and you can see the unseriousness of the server. The fact that even the people who built this massive cooling tower have the time for a Molgas. Here you can see the sign of Pekkraj. And I heard from Nickman, I didn't see this at the time. Just below it is a code hut. I don't know where I could find that. Is there anything down here? Doesn't look to be. But yeah, Pekkraj. Over there is the spawning island. I'm not actually gonna go up there, but that's what it looks like. Um, Here they've made some replicas of some modern Minecraft builds. So this is actually a replica of a classic old brick pyramid from Alpha Minecraft. Over there in the distance, I don't know if you can see it over this hill. That's actually a desert temple. Over there is a desert fountain. Over there, they've made a replica of a village. And yeah, that's the poles for you. Despite how eccentric they are overall chill people. Funnily enough, all the members of Pekkraj actually have matching skins. There's 4 members in total, and if you've ever seen the meme Shadow Wizard Money Gang, like Shadow Wizard Money Gang, we love casting spells. That's how the meme goes. If you never heard of it, uh, that's what they're wearing. Just robed figures with dots for eyes. And here you can see the Polish-speaking flag. Poland. Flag of Poland. Scream if you love Poland! This rail should take me all the way to spawn. But before I make my way there, I think I'm going to showcase Turtleridge and the castle associated with it too. The player that was online just earlier, uh, Daldor, actually lives here. And I should be able to show off his base. Unfortunately, as he did mention, it does have a creeper hole in it, which is unfortunate. But oh well, you lose some, you win some, you lose some. For a server without plugins, you do have to deal with mob griefing, but I think that's fine price to pay for classic Minecraft gameplay. Over here you can see Nickman's castle, and man, it is a beast of a build. I'm gonna check that out in a moment, but first let's check out some of the smaller builds so you understand just how ridiculous that one is. This is Jangru's hut. He built it like a week ago. Koala custom painting. I've rested here a couple nights when it gets dark. Here's actually, this is supposed to represent, like, mine storage. There's a chest and a mine cart. The Turtleridge mine was funded by Jangru. He's a Spanish-speaking Minecraft player that is good friends with Nickman. I think he was recommended to join the server by him. I say that because in the Discord, the two actually got along since Jangru ever actually joined. Here we can see Daldor's base. He doesn't have windows yet. I don't quite see the where the hole is located, but hopefully he puts in some windows soon so that doesn't happen. I don't know how, but he actually got some glowstone to put as these lamps. I know he was asking Nickman for those. That might be where he got them from. We've seen Nickman's wool shop. We've seen his base. Now it's time for his castle. For the longest time since I joined, uh, and by that I mean for a month, this was actually just an empty plot of land next to his dirt palace. He cleared out the water, but seemed to have lost motivation. Only recently did he erect this facade, these ultra detailed cobble walls with slabs and stairs everywhere. In this version, when you break stairs, they actually break the blocks, so he has to push them with pistons if he places them wrong. And here you can see a sort of King Arthur style banquet interior with a very lavish layout, some chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. Yeah, very nice. Not only does this look medieval, it also has a medieval style gate. Pistons push down these fences from above, and gravel raises them back up if you want to exit. Very cool redstone build. I could never make something like that. So yeah, that's Turtleridge. Um, over. Oh, he's back. I should be able to show him on screen if he's still at his base. Hey, man, wanna appear on camera? I wonder if he's at his. I don't see his name tag, so no. He might actually be somewhere else. Oh well, let's wait for him to respond. Anyways, he actually extended this path that Janguru made. At least I think that's how his name's pronounced. It's actually, yeah, it's Janguru. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Oh, no! Hey, come back! Come back! Runaway minecarts. The bane of my existence. Over here we have a sign that says Turtleridge, or just TR. And as the sign implies, that way goes to spawn. We just saw Pekkraj and Sunbreeze back there. Hey, get out of the way, man! Ow. Pigmen these days. They don't know when I'm walking here. Anyways, this is the rail line to Yellowseed. This is pretty far away, so I think I'll tell a little story. Um, the town was founded by Clemente. He's a Spanish-speaking player, and actually, uh, he wrote most of the wiki pages for new players and old. Um, when it came time for him to write a wiki page about Yellowseed, though, he actually over-embellished its history and called it the biggest castle on the server. Uh, Now, I love Clemente. He's a very helpful player. And I can say with 100% certainty that that was a load of shit. Okay, excuse my French. But Yellowseed isn't even a castle. It's a walled city at best. Granted, it's a beautiful walled city, but it's a walled city, not a castle. I don't know what he was thinking. Yellowseed by Clemente X28. Feel free to build here, just try to keep the style. and he has the same thing in Spanish. Um, I, this place is so big, I could honestly do a whole world tour video of this place. It probably deserves one of that length. Here we have some gold and iron ore, since they dropped the full block in this version and you don't actually need to push them around with pistons to get them where you want them to. A little blacksmith. And here we have a rail line to the cactus string and skeleton farms. It's a very pretty line, I might add. And over there you can already see it. Pixel art of a kind of squashed cactus. I don't know if that was, it's probably unintentional. It's probably, they were just building around the shape of the cactus farm inside, and on, it happened to be bigger than 16 by 16, so they just extended the texture of the cactus. It looks kind of wonky though, I might add. Over there, someone built a sideways house. I don't know if you can see it. You could see it just a minute ago. You can see water pouring out from under it here. I doubt you'll be able to see it once we come out of... Nope! Oh, there you can see it. It's pretty funny. I like how people are encouraged to build in a style, and yet someone just built that. Over here you can see how much of practical jokesters these players are. This is actually not even the first ether, fake ether portal on the server. There's actually another one at Spawn Town. I just didn't show it. Over here we have, I believe this is Mr. Gamer's house. I actually fixed his wheat farm and put fences under it so that because previously he had a sign saying that, you know, don't trample on the crops, because he was so afraid of them breaking, and they, like, a fourth of them were already gone by the time I fixed them. Over here is Mosu's TNT powered cobble farm. You just flick the lever and it starts pushing cobblestone down and starts a redstone clock, which activates a dispenser. If you place TNT near that dispenser, flint and steel will activate it and it will fall into that obsidian block, breaking all the cobblestone around it. Even though it doesn't have perfect breaks and TNT is non-renewable, it's more than enough to get you... I'm sorry, what? Yeah, loads and loads of cobblestone. Seems that someone cleared out this chest recently. Here you can see the extensive terraforming that is done, that was done to make this place. Basically none of what you see here was original terrain. First they had to build the wall around the whole town, and then they had to flatten it out and raise some levels, lower others, build waterfalls, and only then could they build these skyscrapers you see around you. This may look like an odd looking build, but it's actually one of the more impressive ones on this on the server. This is the ore museum, and the way Minecraft ores work, if you want to put them in a build, is you have to find the vein underground and then push them with pistons where you want them to be. One player actually got every single ore available in beta, I believe. I think it's... Let me just double check. I have how many items open here. You can see here there's gold ore, iron ore, coal ore, lapis ore, redstone ore, and diamond ore. And I think that's it. Yeah, these are the only ore blocks in this version. Very impressive, I might add. That's all I'll show for Yellowseed. Once you visit, I highly recommend you stop by this place first. No monsters will spawn here at night because of all the torches. So it should be a really safe location to visit. Just take the rail line from spawn with the minecarts so helpfully provided by Nickman. And yeah, get to making memories. Over here is a windmill overlooking a wheat field. I actually harvested a lot of wheat from here recently. You can see some of it still growing back. That fountain is actually one of the first built at Yellowseed, as far as I'm aware. Nice picnic table, and over here is the nether portal. Our final stop for today is actually going to be FarAway Village. Now, you might be asking, in modern, in my, like, in Minecraft, why do you want to build so far away? Like, isn't it better to be closer to other players and to interact with them more? Isn't that the whole good part of joining an SMP? Well, yes and no. Yes, you do get to meet other players a lot, and nobody likes to be so far away from other people. But sometimes you have to. That's the that's why you have to build so far away. It's because if you want to mine for precious materials on a server this old, you have to build it in fresh chunks. So mostly just dug a tunnel in the nether really far away, placed down another portal, and started building a miner's guild there, which is actually going to be our final stop for today. It's this really pretty cyan wool roofed building. Um, if Nickman is the best builder on the server, I'd say Mosu's number two. Mr. Pug is the most prolific builder on the server, and uh, Singer Hertron is the resident Spanish YouTube content creator for the server. So here we can see FarAway Village. A little farmer jack-o'-lantern scarecrow type guy says, "Hello, welcome to FarAway Village." Um, there's some builds he's built here. I think that's his base with some wilted roses. I don't know what that is, but it dumped my head underwater for a second. This has a claw. I don't know what that's supposed to be. There's like a water wheel over there. Building with a slanted roof over here. The reason why these actually have slabs and full blocks is because you can't place slabs upside down in beta Minecraft. And here, I think I'm just going to go inside, sleep through the night, and part one of our world tour there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This took a lot of planning and energy to make. Here you can see some of the wealth that he has amassed by building a mine so far away. Hello, adventurer. Welcome to the Great Mining Guild. And let me see. It should be turning to night in just a second. Yep. This place is a maze. Up here you can see some of the various... Yeah, you can catch a good view of this faraway land. Currently it's still empty, and that's because he built it fairly recently, about a month ago. A lot of the buildings I've shown you today have been built very recently. Tomorrow we'll be looking at some of the older builds, particularly Lavender Cove, Bridgemere, and Bridgetown, which is actually so old that we actually don't know who named it that way. All we know is that it's named that because of the bridge that crosses the river. Alright, so that concludes part 1 of our world tour. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in part 2. Bye now.